anxiety and stress, and we're just, all of us have different experiences with the oils and how we use them and kind of what kind of protocols have worked for us, and all of us have dealt with different types of anxiety and stress. So we're going to go ahead and start with a quick meditation and some breath work so everybody can kind of get settled, because for me this is a really important part of de-stressing and easing anxiety. So wherever you're at, I'm going to say go ahead and find a seat. If you have some oil with you, definitely grab it before you start. I'm going to use Adaptive because this is my #1 go-to for anxiety. I like to put it on, and then I'll put it in my hands and just take a deep inhale and exhale. Inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. And let's do one more breath. And let it go. Nice. All right, so wherever you're sitting, kind of sit back if you can. But if your feet are flat on the floor, make sure they're underneath your knees. And then we're just gonna roll our shoulders down the back and then squeeze them up again and roll them down the back. And then you can go ahead and take a soft gaze, or you can close your eyes. And we're just going to do some basic breathing today. So taking a deep inhale through the nose, holding it, and then releasing it out of the mouth. And we're going to switch it up in the middle. So just listen for my cues, and you'll close the mouth halfway through and exhale through the nose, keeping a really rich feeling in the back of that neck. So when you release the air through the nose, you'll feel it. All right, so join me and take a deep inhale through the nose for 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up, and then slowly release out of the mouth and feel the shoulders fall away from the ears. Take another deep inhale through the nose for 3, 2, and 1. Take another sip in if you can, and then open the mouth and release it all. Again, inhale for 3, 2, and 1. And let it all go. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears here. Take another deep breath in for 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Now seal the lips and release the breath through the nose. Again, inhale for 3, 2, and 1. And slowly release. Start to open your eyes and just be a little more centered. So today, I'm going to just talk about what my protocol is for my anxiety, and just talk about my anxiety a little bit. I was born with anxiety. So I'm adopted. And so coming right out of the womb from that first beginning and being taken from my mother, that creates that fight or flight immediately in your body. So I've always experienced anxiety throughout my life, but I didn't realize I was experiencing it because it's been my normal my entire life. I didn't start to recognize it until I got out of the Marine Corps, really, and I had time to slow down. And it wasn't until I met Monica and we started playing around with these oils that I realized what a positive effect they had on my nervous system. For me, it started with trying to get rid of the ADD or ease the ADD symptoms. So that also ties into my anxiety. But my protocol for easing my anxiety and my stress is practicing every single day with something. So as soon as I wake up, I go to God, either with a Bible verse, a prayer of gratitude for another day, another breath. And then from there, I like to do a meditation. So I've started doing this almost a year and a half ago, and it's really made a huge, huge impact on how the rest of my day goes. So I'll have days where I don't meditate because, again, it's a practice. It's something we have to do. But those days that I don't meditate, I notice it, my family notices it, and usually Monica notices. So it really has impacted me in a positive manner. I also believe in having physical movement in your day throughout the day, every single day. So whatever it is, it could be a walk in nature, connecting. It could be, for me, I love yoga. I love, today we did a track workout. It was crazy insane. But just moving your body every day doesn't have to, you don't have to be like lifting weights or doing anything crazy, just moving that body. Because what happens when we have all that anxiety and all that stress, it stays in our system. It stays in our body. So a really quick example for me is I had already started with the oils and the meditation and God and yoga and all of that, and I was good. I was in a good place, and I knew I was in a good place. Because when you suffer from anxiety and you start to learn about your symptoms and your triggers, and you become more in tune, you recognize how your body is moving and reacting. So for me, I was good. But one particular day, I had to go to the grocery store, and I was just feeling an immense amount of anxiety. Like it was overwhelming to the point where I was like, I told my daughter, I'm like, we just gotta go home. I can't even make a decision right now. I need to go home. I need to breathe. I need to get my oils. Like, I need to chill out. And my daughter, she's been on this journey with me, and she asked, she's like, Mom, why would you even be having these issues? Like, we're good. We're in a good place, you know? And I explained to her that even though mentally I'm good, and, you know, everything's taken care of in the house and I have no worries. My body is still going to react because it's been reacting my entire life. So I still get those reactions. I still have to ease that anxiety. So for me, I've realized that anxiety is something that's never going to go away for me. It's something that I have become more in tune with. It is something that I have learned how to ease and control. And the only way that for me that I've gotten more in tune with my anxiety was through meditation and yoga. And trying to eat clean as possible, because I like a lot of stuff. So with that being said, just meditating every day, and then the oils that work for me, I'll always go to Copaiba. I will always go to Copaiba because Copaiba is the oil that I notice if I don't take it. So it's not where I take it and all of a sudden I feel better, because it's very natural. It's very subtle. But I will notice it if I don't take it. So I usually take it first thing in the morning. Sometimes, depending on my day, I'll take it again in the afternoon, and then I take it in the evening. So Copaiba is part of my protocol for sure. I don't like to be without it. The other part of my protocol is adaptive. This oil, since doTERRA has come out with this oil, I'm just blown away by everything that it does for us, but especially when it comes to our anxiety, because my children suffer as well, obviously, because I'm their mother, and we tend to pass those things down, unfortunately. So adaptive has worked for all of us in our family, and the way that we use it mostly is in a roller ball, because I can rub my kids down with it first thing in the morning, and then we just use it throughout the day. And adaptive is a blend of lavender, magnolia, neroli, sweet gum, and those are the oils, the calming properties. And then it has wild orange and spearmint for uplifting and focus, which I know I need. And then copaiba and rosemary to ease those anxious feelings. So I do that. The other thing I really like to do is diffusing. So with the copaiba, I ingest it in the morning. The adaptive, I apply it onto my skin. And then for diffusing, I really like bergamot and vetiver. So I know those are like, people don't really know, they're different. Bergamot is a citrus oil, and I like to mix it with the vetiver, which is a very heavy woodsy smell, so it smells delightful. They kind of equal each other out. But bergamot is also really, really good for anxiety, PTSD, all those really anxious feelings. So we like to keep this going on in our house a lot. And then mixing it with vetiver for my family is especially good because vetiver helps with our ADD. So the two together is a powerhouse, I believe. It's great for sleeping as well. So that's my protocol. I kind of went off on a little tangent, sorry. The Copaiba in the morning with the meditation, God, adaptive, and some yoga, some breathing, some connecting with nature, and then diffusing the bergamot and the vetiver. So I'm going to hand it over to Liaren, and she's going to tell you how she deals with stress and anxiety.
All right. So I did a little cheered in the oh my gosh. During your deep breathing little meditation thing. I don't know, because I wanted to smell it. I just bought the cheer for Callie because of being home, and it can be lonely sometimes when you don't have all your friends anymore. But when you were talking about your story, Renee, I was almost in tears. And I had to grab my adaptive, and I rubbed and I smelled because it was very, now see, I'm at a loss for words because of you. It was very emotional for me because it brought me back to a time in my life that was very, very stressful. I actually would use the Intune to roll on the back of my neck before I went into a work meeting. And Intune would really help me keep focused on me, what was happening in the meeting, and not worry about my feelings that were going on. Because as a woman, and I don't know if anybody can attest to this, but you become very emotional when you're very passionate about something. And I had to stay on track with that. I couldn't wander off of that. I couldn't become emotional with a group of men. And that's what happens when you work with a group of men. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. But Intune has the sandalwood, the patchouli, frankincense, lime, yang yang, and Roman chamomile. And it just brought me in, centered me, and focused me for that meeting. And that's what I had to have during that time in my life. When I didn't have my Intune, I had my past tense. Not for calming or stress or anxiety, but for the migraines for that job. And it released the tension in my head. I keep those still. I don't need to use them anymore. We're on to another part of our lives. I love the adaptive. Monica, I know has talked about it. Renee has. Adaptive came out in November, and I started using it right after I had shoulder surgery. And when you have a surgery that you have a hard time moving a limb, and I woke up in the morning and I couldn't move my arm. So having the adaptive there and being able to smell it, rub it on, and calms my nerves to be able to say, you're going to be okay. You're going to still be able to lift your arm. And I can. So, but I still use adaptive when I have sappy stories like Renee's to help calm me down. as I get older, I just feel like I become more of an emotional wreck some days. And having the adaptive really, really helps. It's almost empty, and I'm getting ready to order some more this month. Goes out tomorrow. I don't know. I have a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch more because you never know. I mean, Monica taught me about whisper and frankincense during your full moon to help you be centered and make sure the bad demons, that's just how I interpret Monica, the bad demons don't come into your world and throw you off. So that's my centering. My moody that time of the month, or my moody teenager that time of the month, Clary Calm. It helps with cramps. It helps with their moods. Let me tell you. Clary Calm. Balance. Balance is really good to help ease the anxiety emotions and help you center yourself. I've been using it with my mask. I put a little, that in the adaptive, I'll take a little bit and rub it on the front of my mask if I start feeling like I can't breathe through my mask, and it just helps me calm my breathing down. Of course, lavender, a hot bath with lavender and Epsom salts helps ease the tension away, and a little wild orange and elevation to help elevate your moods if you're feeling. Sometimes I feel like I need elevating, but I need brought down. So I'll do a elevation with balance, not a balance, wild orange and lavender. Kind of a different, but smells really good. I'm getting ready to get the adaptive diffuser stuff in the bottle this month. But that's my collection of all my stuff that I use for all my stress and anxiety. But my adaptive stays in my purse for every day, and they're just all there to be my comfort. They're my little comforts, because that's, I didn't talk about my story other than that little bit, but because if I do, I'll like start bawling, and then I will really need like a bath and adaptive. So if anybody has any questions for me, I can answer them for you specifically. All right, Monica.
Okay, thank you, Leerin. Yeah, I get it. We're an emotional breed, aren't we, us women? So ladies, anxiety and stress, it's a part of all of us. It's a natural, anxiety is a natural human emotion, and we all experience it at some point in our lives. It can be a chemical imbalance. It can be things that are currently going on in our world. Our world is kind of kooky out there, if you haven't noticed, that can just trigger a lot of feelings. And anxiety is one. So I was telling Renee, this is all bringing back so many memories of just being in college and performing, you know, like doing clinical studies on people with anxiety. At that time, that was the time in my life in my 20s, I had anxiety, and I didn't even realize it, I guess you can say. I was just a mess. Emotionally, I would have panic attacks. My first panic attack happened when I was 18, and I thought I was dying. I was like, this sucks. Like at 18 years old, and I was having heart palpitations, and like you just feel there's psychological and physical symptoms of anxiety. And like Renee said, I realize now that it's always going to be something that's a part of me. However, I do have tools to combat it, and I'm determined not to lose another minute to anxiety, because I've lost days of my life, weeks, months, years, being just so in it and not having a way out. So quickly, just to share my story, in my 20s, I was just battling a lot of emotions and I didn't know how to cope with that. So that turned into just a lot of emotional stuff that I had to deal with. And then I finally was like, I need help. And it was hard even making that phone call to go talk to someone, a doctor, and be like, I think I need those pills, you know, because I was at a point in my life where like I need to change at that point. So that was hard to do that initial going in and sharing these feelings. And then also after the birth of my children, I for sure had postpartum, but I don't know if it's a culture thing. I'm sure it has a lot to do with it, but like people don't like to talk about this stuff. They don't like to talk about feelings of sadness, feelings of anxiety, feelings of depression, but we're all in it. And now it's time that we start talking about it because we don't need to live like this. It's hard. Life is hard enough. So just like Leeann, I have a whole bunch that I kind of go to. Depending on my day. We're all different. Every day's different. But I will say I spent the vast majority of my 20s on and off antidepressants. Many of them. I would like keep track. So I'm kind of OCD a little bit. And I would keep track. Every new medication I went on, I would just write down. And I felt worse. And they're like, you have to give it time. And I'm like, I actually feel more depressed. I feel more anxious. I'm not sleeping. I like couldn't get it right. After many trials, I gained a ton of weight on some. They were just not good for me because I think I'm just sensitive to medications in general. So it's been this whole process, and it wasn't until I saw what happened with Renee, and that happened very serendipitously and very organically, just finding the oils, and she's like, this is helping me. And so I started researching and seeing exactly like how can these oils truly help, and they can, because on a scientific level, every plant has these powerful oils that affect us, that protect the plant, but we too are part of our earth, and so we're affected by it as well. So I will say the first one, it was scary. I went off meds with the help of health practitioner, holistic, as well as my own research, because honestly, no one's going to care about your health more than yourself. So I started doing my research, and Copaiba, this one right here, is amazing. This little bottle has 250 drops, and I'm going to show you just how quick and easy if you're suffering, if you're having some anxious feelings, all I did was pop this off, and it's like a little dropper. 3 drops under the tongue up to 3 times a day is the recommended dosage. So I usually only have to do this once a day, sometimes twice. If it's in a very, very especially stressful day, I could do it up to 3. I really don't ever have to do 3, but I'm just going to show you how quick and easy you can kind of feel it. So just lift the tongue, and you can feel those 3 drops. Now, I don't necessarily like that taste, so it's different. It's weird. However, it works very quickly. That method I just showed you is the fastest way. Within minutes, my nervous system is already starting to say, okay, calm down. We don't need to tighten our tummies. Our heart doesn't need to palpitate. We can just be calm. And I have amazing stories, Renee too, events we've been at, we've shared this with people, blown away. Like you can see the change. So I'm going to say this one especially because everyone probably knows about CBD and how CBD attaches to the cannabinoid receptors in our brain. Well, this one does too, and it's a direct connect. So whereas CBD, there's like all these different connections, this immediately has an effect, a positive calming effect on our nervous system. So this one is probably number 1. I cannot go one day without this. I also can't go without one day without meditating. That is part of it too. Meditation is medication. This is why everyone always knows. I'm like, are you meditating? I will always say that because I can't believe just a quick little breathing and centering can make such an impact on your whole entire day. I also just found neroli. Neroli oil is a citrus. It's from the orange flower. And this one is amazing for anxiety. This one I've been going to every day. I like to put it right here behind my ears, a little on my wrist, and inhale. And of course, adaptive. This one is like every household, right, girls? 100% of the people love this. doTERRA, when they made this blend, they really, truly put together a winner right here. 100% of the people like it. It is so good for all mental wellness. No matter what we want to categorize, it just helps. It's uplifting, it's calming, it's delightful. And then the last two I want to show are the Serenity and the Balance combo. This little trick right here, I know we're not supposed to say, like, they call it liquid Xanax. I'll just say that. So 1 drop of Balance, 1 drop of Serenity, and then just inhale. Just doing that 3 times, you'll feel it. You'll be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling a little chill, feeling a little calm. But it is well-rounded, just like wellness is. So in order for my anxiety to stay under control, I have to take my supplements, because that also can be a huge factor. When we're deficient in nutrients, we can have side effects such as anxious feelings and so on and so forth. So I have to take my supplements. I have to meditate. I have to work out every day, move my body somehow, some way. I have to have a yoga practice that's separate. That's not yoga's for living. I have to drink my water. I have to sleep. I have to keep my stress, like all of it. It's a lot of work. We are a lot of work, aren't we? But we have a lot of tools to help in times of high stress and high anxiety. And yeah, so that's my story. We're gonna go ahead and open it now to, if anyone has questions, you can unmute, ask away. If you want us to repeat anything, any protocols, we're happy to do that. But the 3 of us know that we couldn't combat our anxiety without these oils. And Karen couldn't be here tonight because she has got a lot going on, lots of positive things in her life, but she wanted us to just pass on and say, listen to your nose. We're all different, and trust what your nose is telling you, because a lot of times the oils call us. Like, I've seen it happen with Renee. I've seen those oils call her because that's what she needed. And it was just really cool to see how that all happened, and gave me a lot of hope. And here I am today, you know, off of prescriptions, my whole family, all of us, everyone's off prescription meds. And it's just been a learning curve the whole way.
And I think it's important to, because I didn't mention it, but that is also part of my protocol, is the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Is a crucial part of conquering the anxiety, because our nutrition is directly linked to everything else that's going on. So depression, anxiety, a lot of that is stemming from lack of nutrients, believe it or not. And it can be resolved with a simple fix of taking on a supplement, such as doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. So doing all of it is so important. Does anybody have any questions? Or you want to just talk? I love talking. Hi, Brandy.
And I'm sorry that
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Nicole. Oh my gosh, so good. I want to see your beautiful faces.
I will tell you that I got a little emotional with Renee. So I talked very short because I was feeling very emotional at that time.
Oh, I want to hug you. I'm sorry.
So I'll go back a little bit. My anxiety, like Monica, I'll start again. It started when I was in high school and had an anxiety attack during competition for dance team. And I've been on medication and I have not gotten off since my early 20s. And had the postpartum depression, and I've tried different things, and with the quarantine, I was furloughed and found another job, but there's been a lot of emotions. And my husband's a fireman, my brother's a police officer, and just knowing that they're out there, for some reason lately, it's just been a lot more emotional. So
Absolutely.
I have been going to my oils. Just up thinking, making sure he's okay. So I'm very dependent on my oils because obviously my medication's not working. So.
Well, I think sometimes it's a really nice enhancement too, because I know I've talked to a lot of people, and it's very courageous to take that step, like Monica did, but a lot of people aren't ready for that, and that's okay too. You know what I mean? Just like, you can use the medication with the oils and get all the side benefits instead of the side effects.
Oh yeah, I've tried to come off of it, and I got very dizzy, heart palpitations. It was not good at all. So.
I think that's important too, Renee. It's not all or nothing, I was on the meds for a long time. It was my crutch. I was afraid to get off. But I also, I had to give full faith. And your story, watching, as you know, I couldn't believe it. I was blown away at how wonderful these were working for you. And so I was like, I have to try this. I have to see.
And for me, I think it's been also instinctual, because I wanted to be desperately off my medication. Like, I was craving that. I'm like, I just want to get off. This medication is no good. I was grinding my teeth. I had no appetite. My body was not receiving the nutrients it needed. It was a hot mess, and I knew it. So when you brought those oils over, and I just went to the ones my body naturally needed for what I was dealing with, and I didn't know it at the time. So I naturally went to Vetiver. I naturally went to patchouli, and Monica even said, she's like, nobody picks those oils. Nobody likes the way they smell, really. They're very woodsy and strong, but that's
hippie.
Well, yeah, that too. I'm definitely a hippie, but my body needed that for the ADD and the anxiety, I think. So it
did. And I have to just share this story real quick, because that's where I was like, yo, what's up with these oils? Like, prior to that, I had been using them for years. I loved the way they smelled, but watching what happened. So, backtrack a couple years ago, like I said, I've always been into the oils. So I had a collection growing. I wasn't using them every day like I do now. So they kind of just sat there. And me and Renee became friends, and one day we're hanging out. I was like, yeah, you want to check out these oils? I have all these oils. They just sit here. No one's using them. And so she started going through them. And again, she starts picking all these, the Vetiver, the patchouli, and I was like, nobody likes those. So she was like looking into, you were researching the meds. Your daughter was about to get on, and you're like, I just don't want to put her on this. And I saw you were completely different on them. So for you to pick so then she's using them, she starts diffusing these oils just instinctually, right? And then about a month passed, and you're like, I'm feeling much better. And I hang out with her every day. So I'm like, you are a lot better. I could see it. And then I was like, wait a minute, what oils did you pick? So I go to my oil Bible, my Modern Essentials, and I look in the very back, and I was like, girl, in the way back, I had watched this webinar about anxiety, ADHD, years ago, and every single oil that was mentioned on there is exactly the oil she had picked. Like, mind blowing. Like, how did you even know that? How did you know to go to those? But her body knew. So that's where I was like, okay, this might be something real right here. You know, like I had thought about getting off the meds, but again, I held on to that. I was afraid to completely let go. And once I did, and it was progressive, like a progression, we don't want to ever just cut anything cold turkey, because then you can have some really bad side effects like that as well. But it was just so cool and so organic and natural to see that happen. And so I tell people all the time, it wasn't until Renee jumped in, that's what she does, she dives in, like, let's do this. And I'm glad she did, because now my whole family uses these oils at least twice a day. The kids and everything, this is our go-to medicine. Everyone needs to oil up in the morning. And I could typically tell, go on summer vacation, we sleep in a little bit, but around 10 o'clock, I'm like, everyone needs to put oil so all of us can stand each other, because I can tell ain't nobody got no oils on. You can just see it, you can feel it. The oils just keep everyone vibing. That's how I feel. Everyone is just calmer without feeling. So here's another point. Here's something else too that I hear a lot. People say, I heard they can get you high. And no, not at all. It's just calming. It's a natural calm. But then I was like, you know what?
We did have a myrrh experience though, didn't we?
We had a bottle of myrrh explode.
What was that? That was insane.
Whoa. But that's like the only time.
Yeah, it was accidental, but we spilt a bottle of myrrh, and of course, because we are who we are, we're like, we can't waste it. Oh my God, it's myrrh! Like,
pouring
we
it
had
all
to put
over.
it on everybody. Like, everybody had it on. The kids had it on. We had it on, and we had a lot. It was excessive. I would never recommend doing that. But we didn't want to waste it. And then we were like, do you feel weird? Like, it was just, we were very, very, very relaxed.
Very chill.
Very relaxed.
Very chill. But that's like the only time, and that was like a lot of oil.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But then I was thinking, so what if it makes you feel a little high?
It was nice, right? It was natural. It wasn't like it was.
Yeah. I mean, the runners, they're searching for.
The kids were good.
The meditators, they're trying to get to that point. But honestly, like, you don't have to worry when you're using doTERRA only. That's important. Very, very important, because you're getting quality. You're getting very purity. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I had just really quick, I have another story about a friend of mine that knew, I'd always tell her to go to the oils, and she was dealing with anxiety, and I had recommended taking a bath in the oils. So just using a couple drops and putting it in the bath. And I had explained to her I had done it the night before. I did it with Siberian fir for some reason. I can't remember why. But that's the oil I chose, and I had told her that. And so she went and did it, and she came back. And she was like, Renee, you'll never believe what happens. And I'm like, what? She's like, I did what you told me. I put lavender, the calmest, lightest oil you could have, in my bath. And come here, I have to show you what happened. So she pulls up her shirt, and she's got like these burn marks, like this just like weird burn mark on her skin all over her back. And she was like, that's what happened when I put oil in the bathtub. I was like, were you using doTERRA? And she was like, no, it was another company. I'm like, well, there you go. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it wasn't a good choice, because a lot of those other companies that say they're pure, they're not. They're not. So.
Yeah, there's no regulation. So anything can say pure, anything can say natural. It's just important for people to do their own research. Like right now, especially, I'm like question everything that you put in and on your body. Question the food. Question, like, just know, know where your stuff is coming from and know exactly what you're putting, especially the way we use them. I mean, you saw I just popped that in. It, who knows if you're getting some chemicals and you're putting them, anything off the store, anything that you can buy, any oils off the shelf is not quality. If it's cheap, if it, so just stick with doTERRA. That's a very good point.
I'm going to go back to what Monica said about talking about what Karen wanted to talk about in your nose and your olfactory senses. And Renee, who went to those oils, then the other oil. So you're going to like some things and not like others. Some people don't like certain smells. So I highly recommend reaching out to your doTERRA representative and saying, hey, I'm really interested in this, but I really would like to smell it before I purchase it. I did a smell party the other day with some kids, and I was telling Monica and Renee about this. The two children both have high anxiety, and mom wanted to do some smelling before she purchased. And one kid went straight to the lemon, one went to wild orange, and one went to spearmint. He really likes the spearmint. He's been diffusing the spearmint. They loved the adaptive. They both did. But sister needs something to bring her down because she's super sensitive with noises, and she can't be in the same room when they're eating dinner. She can't even eat with them because chewing is like 10 times the noise for her. So she also, the sister, loved the whisper. And my friend, Monica, thought she smelled baby powder also.
Yay!
So reach out to us. Say, hey, I'd like to have a smell test, especially if you want to do it for children, because I highly recommend them smelling and seeing what they like. Very
important, Lauren. And kids are way more sensitive. They're more in tune with their bodies than we are. And they can feel it. I know, like, our kids know, like, whenever something is off, they're like, what I need an oil. Or they know now. Marissa's like, my belly hurts, I need some peppermint beadlets, so because they can feel it. They feel the effects of the oils. My oldest son, he's the only one I don't have to be on. He's 13 years old and he puts his oils on every morning and every night by himself because he's like, I can feel a difference, So it is important that they're all different too. We're all different, and we want to share, right? We want to share the good stuff. So
absolutely. Just because we believe in it so much, I love sharing the oils with everybody. But I was going to talk about the sensitive smells because my oldest daughter doesn't like a lot of the smells, and she needs a lot of the oils. So it's just, for us, it has been, because I like probably 90% of them. I love all of them. But with her, I have to be sensitive to the strength in the smell. So when I fill her diffuser, because she is 17 and I still have to fill it, but that's okay because I know it's benefiting her, right? But I just go lighter. I go real light, a couple drops, and it still has an effect. So, and actually the less you use, the better. The smaller amount of the oil that you use in your system is going to be more effective in your body. So just FYI. No questions? I'll keep talking, you guys. Like, I will keep going on and on.
Wait, we have a question.
Yay.
Hold on 1 second. You're muted. There we go.
Okay. So that was going to be one of my questions, Monica, when you spoke about your son. Do you find that males are drawn to different oils from, you know, us females? I wasn't sure.
You know, honestly, the ones we use are pretty gender neutral. So my whole family uses the Adaptive, and it's very, gender neutral. We kind of all like the same, but I'm like Renee, like I love them all. Like there's really not an oil that there's only a couple there I'm like, but for the most part, you know, there's a blend that we started making. Actually, I learned this from Karen. It's the Peaceful Child blend. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, but it was created by a mom with a son who is autistic. He's on the spectrum. And it's a blend of oils that are meant to target all of the symptoms that come with that, you know, like noise and sleep and just sensitivity and general anxiety. A lot of children on the spectrum have anxiety because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of brain activity. So in that blend is Vetiver. That's like the predominant one. So Vetiver is super good. In a clinical study by the American Medical Association, they did a study on ADHD and ADD, and it was 100% effective. Vetiver was 100% effective in the treatment of both ADHD and ADD. What was 80%? Cedarwood? Cedarwood's another one that we didn't mention. Cedarwood's a great
lifesaver.
Yeah, super good in the diffuser. But yeah, for the most part, they're all pretty gender neutral. So in that Peaceful Child blend, Vetiver, lavender, clary sage, marjoram, ylang ylang, and frankincense. Is that all of them? I just made
And
one.
clary sage.
Clary sage. There's 6.
Yeah.
So the 6 of those together creates a just a very gender neutral smell. So yeah, my husband uses the oils every day. We have to kind of just do it. We have to give it to them, but now they're getting to the point where they're going to them on their own because they're starting to feel the benefits, and they're going to feel differently. They may reach for something differently than maybe I reached before.
And I actually thought Adaptive, when it first came out and then I started sharing it with people, I thought Adaptive men were going to kind of back away from, just because I felt personally, I thought it was a floral scent, more of like a girly scent. But I have yet to find a man that feels that way. And I've been sharing it with everyone. And so everyone really loves it. But just to talk a little bit about that, my son, he likes Adaptive mostly. He goes to Adaptive, but he still likes like bergamot, which is a citrus oil. He likes lavender. So it just really just depends on the person. I don't think it depends on the gender. Yeah.
I agree. It depends on the person. My sister-in-law purchased the Adaptive, and my brother thinks it's absolutely horrible.
Wow.
My brother, and he's weird. So, but yeah, I was like, he doesn't like it, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't like it because he's totally different from me and my other brother. And his smells and his little quirks are totally different than me and him.
Yeah.
But my other brother loves it. So again, it's different.
Well, and so many of these oils can replace each other too. So, you know, like if you find, like you want, like I had mentioned bergamot, right? And I was like, this is a really great oil for PTSD and anxiety specifically. And it's a citrus oil and it's pretty strong. But if you go to it and you're like, you know what, this isn't working for me, there's always an alternative oil with the same benefits that's going to smell completely different, but still give you the relief of anxiety and PTSD. So it's just finding the scents that work for you, that match the I guess the issues you're dealing with.
Yeah, because there's been a couple of them that I can't stand the smell of them either. But then there's others that I absolutely adore. So,
and
it was interesting you brought it up, the fact that, you know, not everybody responds the same way. So that's good to know.
Well, and the ones that you're drawn to are probably the ones that you need.
I put the Peaceful Child blend in the group chat. I just made that today. So it's amazing. Like this one, this blend right here was probably the one we got started off with because it has everything in there. It's got the vetiver, it's got the lavender, it's got the frankincense, ylang ylang, clary sage and marjoram, and all of those have different constituencies to help a vast, symptoms associated with anxiety. So that's there. Any more questions? Any comments? I think we gave a lot of information tonight. This is important because anxiety and stress can absolutely affect our lives. And so we want to make sure that we have all the tools available to combat that, because I can't lose another minute to this stuff. So I do, when I feel the symptoms, when my heart starts pounding, when I feel tightness in my chest or my belly. Everyone's different too. Everyone's symptoms are different. I just immediately go to my oils. I have them all over, and even just doing that, of course, we have all of our other protocols in place, but this absolutely helps tremendously to just calm and center and ground. So if that's it, ladies, we're going to end today. And as always, reach out if you have any questions, or if you need samples, if you want to smell. We have plenty to share. We're happy. We're sending out, we're mailing out things every day. So we can always pop some samples in the mail for you as well. And if that's it, we're gonna close this out.
All right.
Thank you all for joining, and join us next week. Next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about something else. Does anyone know?
I don't remember. Sorry.
Hold on.
I think pain management.
Pain management.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yes, it is. I just had to go to protocols this weekend for that. So,
Right.
All right, ladies, everyone stay well. Thank you
Stay
for
happy.
joining. And until next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.